I am Sangeeta Sharma, your chemistry teacher. Today we will study chapter 6, Metals and Non-Metals, part 2. Dear students, we have already discussed about metals and non-metals in the previous video. In this video today we will discuss about metalloids, alloys, corrosion, rusting and the uses of metals. So our first topic is metalloids. You can say it semi-metals also. Metalloids, also called semi-metals, these are the elements with properties intermediate between those of metals and non-metals. Examples: boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic, antimony and tellurium are metalloids. They have the following general properties. Metalloids are hard solids like metals. They may or may have not luster. For example, germanium, antimony and tellurium are lustrous, but silicon and arsenic are not lustrous. They have densities intermediate between those of metals and non-metals. Their abilities to conduct heat are intermediate between those of metals and non-metals. Except some, like arsenic and antimony, being good conductors of electricity, and silicon and germanium are semiconductors. Metalloids like silicon and germanium are semiconductors. Therefore, their ability to conduct electricity is intermediate between those of metals and non-metals. The semiconducting property of these elements has made them highly useful in the electronic industry. The chips used in TVs, computers, phones, etc. are made of silicon. Alloys. A solid solution, that is a homogeneous mixture of a metal with other metals or non-metals, is called an alloy. For example, steel is an alloy of iron, manganese and carbon, and brass is an alloy of copper and zinc. An alloy is usually harder and stronger than the parent metals, and at the same time it resists corrosion. This is why alloying is done. Some common alloys name: steel, stainless steel, manganese steel, brass, bronze, gold alloys, amalgams, etc. Gold alloys. Pure gold is soft and is therefore not suitable for making jewelry. So it is made harder and stronger by alloying it with silver, copper or sometimes both. The alloy is still malleable. Amalgams. Alloys of mercury are called amalgams. Silver and tin amalgams are used in dentistry. Other amalgams have many laboratory and industrial uses. Uses of metals. The history of metals dates back to more than 5,000 years. Human beings learned the use of copper first, as it was available in the free state. Gold was also available in the free state, but it is very expensive. Sheen and unreactiveness made it is a valuable substance. Then human beings learned how to extract iron from its ores, and iron came in use. Other metals like silver, tin, mercury and lead have also been known since ancient times. Aluminium, the most abundant metal in the Earth's crust, was discovered and extracted in the 19th century. We will now briefly discuss the uses of some common metals. The first one is iron. Iron is tough, strong, and inexpensive. It is used in the construction of buildings and for making pipes. To prevent the rusting of iron, it is galvanized. Galvanized iron is used to make pipes and sheets. Iron coated with tin is used to make cars. Non-stick utensils are made of iron and withstand high temperature. Now, copper. Copper is a very good conductor of electricity, next only to silver. So, it is used in electrical wiring, cables, and gadgets. Being a very good conductor of heat too, it is used for making cooking vessels. You may have seen the copper bottom in a utensils. The copper distributes heat fast. Third, aluminium. Aluminium is a good conductor of electricity, but less than copper. However, it is so light that for a given mass of the metal, the wires made of aluminium are much longer than those made of copper. Thus, aluminium is much cheaper than copper for the transmission of electricity. Being a good conductor of heat, it is used for making utensils. Its lightness and malleability make it especially useful for making foils, for packaging food and medicines. Being light, it is used in aircraft too. Aluminium paint is used on iron objects to prevent rusting. Zinc. Zinc is used to galvanize iron and also to make dry cells. Mercury. Mercury is the only metal found in the liquid state under ordinary conditions. Being a metal, it is a good conductor of heat, and being a liquid, it expands or contracts more than a solid on being heated or cooled. Moreover, it does not stick to glass, so it is used in making thermometers. Because it is not sticky, reactive and volatile, it is used in making barometers. Large quantities of mercury are required in the manufacture of alkalis such as sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide. It is also used in making amalgams, that is, alloys of mercury. Lead. Lead is flexible, not all that reactive and corrosion resistant. So, it was used for many purposes. For example, lead pipes were used in plumbing, for connecting water pipes in homes, laboratories and the industry. But now it has been established that the metal is poisonous, and so all such uses have been discontinued. At present, the metal is put to such uses which do not require direct contact of the metal with humans. Lead is mostly used in storage batteries, which are rechargeable and give a steady voltage. Lead sheets are used in walls, floors and ceiling. It is used for shielding against X-rays. Silver. Silver, a shining white metal, is used in jewelry, for silvering mirrors and for electroplating. It is also used in Ayurvedic and Unani medicines. Silver foils are used for decorating sweets. Gold, known for its yellow sheen and nobility. Gold is a precious metal and is mainly used in jewelry. It is also used in Ayurvedic and Unani medicines. It is used for electroplating silver or bronze jewelry. Platinum. Platinum is a shining white metal, nobler and costlier than even gold. So, it is used mainly in jewelry. It is also used in many scientific experiments. So, after uses of metals, our next topic is corrosion. It's a very important topic also. The slow destruction of a metal or an alloy by chemical action is called corrosion. The freshly cut surfaces of metals shine, but on being exposed to air, these surfaces usually get tarnished. Tarnished means discolored. This happens because a thin film of the metal oxide is generally formed over there by the action of air on the metal. Sometimes the hydrogen sulfide gas present in polluted air causes the formation of the metal sulfide too. For example, silver gets tarnished in polluted air by the formation of silver sulfide, which is black. In many cases, tarnishing protects the rest of the metallic mass from the chemical action of air. In the other cases, when the chemical action of air is prolonged beyond tarnishing, the compounds formed slowly eat away the metal. We can say that the metal is corroded. The rusting is a common example of corrosion. Other metals like magnesium, aluminium, zinc, tin, and copper also corrode. The corrosion of copper is commonly observed in the kitchen. You might have seen a green deposit over a copper utensil when the latter is left in moist air for a day or two. The green substance mainly contains basic copper sulfate or basic copper carbonate. These compounds are formed by the action of oxygen, sulfur dioxide or carbon dioxide, and moisture on copper. Factors that aid corrosion: the presence of impurities in the metal. Pure metals kept in isolation do not corrode. The iron pillar at Delhi, standing in the open air, has not corroded for centuries because it is made of pure iron. Second, the presence of moisture. Third, the presence of acid-forming gases. Gases like carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and hydrogen sulfide form acids upon reacting with moisture, leading to chemical action on the metal. The presence of salts. Salts facilitate corrosion. So, our next topic is rusting. You must have observed a reddish-brown deposit on the surface of an iron object if it is left in the open for a few days. The reddish-brown substance called rust is an oxide of iron with a few water molecules. It is represented by the formula Fe2O3XH2O, where XH2O means that the number of H2O molecules is uncertain. The deposition of rust is called rusting. Metal oxides and hydroxides are generally bases. A base turns moistened red litmus paper blue, and so does rust. How to prevent corrosion? Corrosion is highly destructive. It eats away the metal and destroys the strength of the metal by making it crack. Metals can be protected from corrosion by preventing them from remaining in direct contact with air. This can be done by the following methods. First, painting. Applying a paint protects the metal from the chemical action of air or a solution. Greasing. Applying grease over the metal surface also protects the metal from chemical action. Galvanizing. A metal object is dipped in molten zinc so that a layer of zinc forms on the surface of the object. Then the object is said to be galvanized. Galvanizing prevents rusting. Next, tinning. Tinning a metal is also done in a similar manner as galvanizing. A tin plate is prepared by dipping an iron sheet in molten tin. A thin layer of tin deposits on iron, which not only prevents iron from rusting but also gives a shining look to the sheet. Electroplating. Depositing a thin uniform layer of one metal over another by electrolysis is known as electroplating. Electroplating a metal with tin, nickel, chromium or copper is quite a common method of preventing corrosion. Electroplated material remain lustrous for a long period. My dear students, thank you so much for watching this video. Please write your name, class and section in the comment box after watching the video. Thank you so much.